Hello everyone and welcome to another very exciting day on Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer. Today we got a new yarn release from Premier Yarns. They released a new yarn and this yarn is right up my alleyway, especially as of late. And I got a surprise for you. This is going to also be a tutorial, so if you're only here for the tutorial in the future and you already know about this yarn, you can just fast forward a couple minutes and you can get right on to the tutorial. We are going to make a chicken and an egg, or a birdie and an egg. We're going to make a baby and an egg, okay? It's going to be a baby bird. So that should tell you right now. I know, his head's a little funky. I promise our bird's not going to be that funky. I have a couple of them, but they're under the pile of dinosaurs. I can't reach them. We're going to make a little baby chickie, and we're going to make an egg. Now, I wish I had some Premier Parfait to make said egg, but I do not. I'm going to use what I have. So, we're going to see how that plays out. We may have a multicolored egg, because the yarn that I was sent from Premier Yarns is beautiful, multicolored, right up my alleyway. Tie-dyed Basix chenille. This is brand new. It was just released today. Very, very excited to have this in my hot little hands. And it's the same that I've been using frequently with the babies. The babies. I've been making all kinds of dinosaurs. Trying to determine... Oh, this is... We've used this frequently. This is the Basix chenille. This is not the tie-dyed. So we're going to work this up and see just what it looks like as opposed to this one, which is the Basix chenille multi. They also have Basix chenille brights, which comes in bright fun colors. And I know that I like this yarn because, like I said, I made this bunny rabbit. Why am I showing you the back of it? Because the front of it is not as pretty as the back. See, his face is a little weird. We're not making a bunny today, though. We're going to make a birdie. And he is obviously going to be a tropical bird by these beautiful, beautiful colors. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about this yarn. I have to pull up my little cheat sheet. No, I don't, because I'm looking right at the information. But it is the Basix chenille tie-dye, which means that it is, in fact, okay. Let me, the email distracted me. I was trying to upload a short and it said no because of the music. They didn't like the music. There is a little cheat sheet that I have that is on my phone that I need to find that gives you all the colors and stuff. There it is. Alright, so it is a super bulky number 6, which is really common for this kind of yarn. You know what? I will put the little thing up here. This thing right here. I'll put that right there. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 colors of this. Oh. And the Harmony is screaming to me. I need to order some of the Harmony and the Kaleidoscope Groovy Glow. Alright. There's so many beautiful colors, okay? So the colors that I have in my hot little hand is Flower Child, which is beautiful pinks and purples. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's like that is purple. It's showing up blue on my camera. My camera very often will try to change the color of blues and purples to each other. So that is royal purple. But it's not showing up as such. It's looking more navy. I promise you it's not. And I don't even know. There you go. There you go. Just hold blue next to it. It's very accurate. And then the blue one is Ocean Swells, which is greens and blues. It is beautiful. And a little bit of, oh, see? That looks a little yellow on my screen, but that is a limey green. This is more of a Kelly green. It's really pretty. I can't wait to work with this. And we're going to work with it in just a few moments. And I feel like it kind of matches my outfit, so it definitely matches my headband. Right? And this is the pièce de résistance. The beautiful, this is my favorite that they sent me. This is the amazing Technicolor Dream Coat. is so pretty. It's so beautiful. And I love this colorway. It has an entire rainbow of colors. It has banana yellow. This is like cherry slush. This is like blue raspberry slush. There is little bobs of purple where it's like the blue and the pink kind of intermingled. Orange. A beautiful Kelly green. Pink splash. Absolutely beautiful. And when the colors, give my camera a second. When the colors blend in together, it creates like new little speckly color. This is so beautiful. So I'm thinking I want to make a pink and a purple bird today because I really want to save this for something for just for me that's not a tutorial. We may have a blue egg. And I'm going to do my best with this tutorial because I have done very few tutorials with chenille style yarn. So we're going to take our time. We're going to crochet slowly. This recommends, okay, so I should tell you, this is only 75 yards. This is perfect size for amigurumis. I think my big dinosaurs even, these only take about 100 yards. So you would need 2 balls for a dinosaur, but you could sell this for like $25 in a market, like easily. I know because I've seen them at several markets and these are really, really popular with little boys and little girls, especially when they're, you know, fun colors and sparklies. But this is more than enough. You could probably make 2 chickens, or the birds. You can make 2 of these little birdies, not the egg included, just the little birdies, with 1 ball of these, I'm gonna predict. All right, now what you need for this tutorial is obviously you're gonna need your bird color and you're gonna need your egg color. I think I'm gonna pull out white though, because I prefer to do the white, and we'll see how that works out. If not, we'll do a blue egg and it will be fine. But I really want to make the pink and the purple birdie. And this is 100% polyester. This is one of my favorite chenille style yarns. And I'm going to tell you why. Some of the other chenille yarns on the market shed like crazy. This one does not shed so much. Like there might be minor shedding, but very little. Also the ends in some chenilles on the market. Let me try to find my center pole. The ends on some of the chenilles when you do this, and I'm being pretty aggressive. I got a little tiny bit, but the ends don't peel apart. And that's why I prefer this to most chenilles on the market. Why I turned blue. It's because I was holding pink in front too long. It's like, wait a minute, you're blue, babe. Here, we'll fix it. There, now I'm back to pink. All right. Isn't that funny how that works? So that's why I prefer this one. I like the texture and the feel of it. It's not super squeaky on my hook. It's not like gross. It doesn't leave my hands feeling powdery and nasty. And so I was really excited that I got sent this because Premier Yarns is very familiar with like what I like and what I don't like. And when they're releasing chenille style yarns, they tend to leave me out of that because I've straight up told them I'm not a big fan of these types of yarns. But lately I've been on such a huge kick. I have made more dinosaurs than I can count. I made a bunch of the little baby chickies with the eggs. And so that's what we're going to make today. Now this recommends an 8mm crochet hook. We're going to use 7mm if you have it. You can use 8, but I can't guarantee there won't be holes in the fabric of your project. If you absolutely don't have a 7 and you're getting holes with an 8mm, go down to a 6.5mm. You really want the fabric to be tight together so that you don't see the fluff coming through, because that would be bad. Because I mean, if a little kid gets it, they're gonna for sure pull the little stuffs out and maybe put it up their nose. Because I had a cousin who did that, and she had to go to the hospital to get it all removed because she was picking the lint off of her blanket and putting it up there. We don't want that, so smaller hook is better. All right, what else you're gonna need? You're gonna need some polyfill, the white fluffy stuff, which I do not have in this room. I'm gonna have to go get to stuff it. Or you'd use yarn scraps. Yarn scraps work. If you got a bunch of yarn scraps laying around like I do, you can stuff it in there and you could use that. You can open up an old pillow. You could use that if you don't want to buy polyfill. There's things that you could use to stuff your amigurumi with, okay? Just make sure it's clean and it's, you know, free of debris and creepy crawlies and all that good stuff. And then you're going to need a pair of scissors. This is obvious. Every time you crochet, you need a pair of scissors and a little darning needle. And you also are going to need some sort of eyes. I am using safety eyes. If you do not have safety eyes, you could crochet little dots on there. You could put buttons on there. You could put a bead on there. You can put, you could crochet eyeballs and put them on there. You could use felt. There's lots of ways you could put eyes onto your amigurumi. Do whatever feels best for you. Do whatever works for you. And then, all right, let's go down to the table. I'll be right back because I'm going to go get my polyfill and we'll get started on this tutorial. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. All right, now I'm going to show you guys a magic trick. You guys ready? I showed this in my last video with this type of yarn and people lost their minds. So if you're doing, we're starting this in a magic circle. Okay, starting in a magic circle. He's gonna have a round tushy. That's his undercarriage. Okay, same thing. The bottom of the egg is the same way. So we're gonna start in the round. Now I've had a couple people ask me, like, I'm having trouble because with certain yarns, this one's not one of them. When you do that magic circle, I'm going to show you a magic circle. You act like you're making a slip knot, so you make it look like an awareness ribbon. The short tail on the bottom, you go in and you pull up a loop and you chain one. Now the problem with this kind of yarn, sometimes when you do a magic loop, you put your crochet stitches in. Okay, and you get it going, and then it's darn near impossible to pull that. So even now it's kind of tight. Alright, so I'm going to show you what to do if you're struggling with that, or if you're working with the kind of chenille where your ends fall off. Get yourself a piece of spare yarn. This is a scrap from a different tutorial entirely. Now pretend like one side is a long tail, one side is a long tail, okay, or a short tail. And you do the same thing and pretend like you're doing a slip knot, okay? You're gonna grab that fake long tail and pull it up and call it a day. Actually, there's an easier way to do that. Look, boom. Make a knot, okay? Crochet over both strands. You ready? Oh, this is kind of wonky. You can do it this way, or you can create a slip knot on this side. This is a little more secure. I know this is a lot of steps. You got your knot. Make it a little smaller if you need to, if you're struggling. Okay. Single crochet, and you got it attached. And then for this, we're going to start with 6 single crochet. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you see I'm crocheting over both straps. 6. This is 6. So we need to start with 6. You take those two ends and you pull them as tight as you can get them, okay? And then you put another little knot in there. There you go. You can't see that yarn is in there. You can slip stitch, or in our case we're going to single crochet in that very first stitch, okay, and single crochet 2 times in that very first stitch. If you want, you can crochet over the top of these tails, or you can weave them in later. It's entirely up to you. That is how to do a very seamless, no hole in the middle magic circle without damaging your yarn. Look at it's as secure as it can be. Okay, and if you don't want to weave this in, it's going to be on the inside of the bird anyway, so we're not going to see it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're working in a circle. We're not working, let me find a stitch marker. We're working in a continuous circle. We're working in a spiral, and because of that, you guys kind of need to know where your first stitch is. I'm going to grab a stitch marker. And because I already put 2 stitches in, I know that that first stitch right here is the first stitch of the row. Boom. So go back one because we already put the 2 stitches in the next row. This is the first stitch of the second row. That's a second stitch. So, and I know it is really hard to see. Okay, just feel around. You should be able to feel that there's a hole there, and a hole there, and a hole there, and a hole there. All right. In every stitch around, you should put 2 single crochets. So at the end of this first row, you should have how many? 12. So we did 2, 3, 4, and you can just count as you go around. 5, 6. I love this color of this yarn. That was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Take the stitch marker out because we know that's the first stitch of the next row, and put 2 single crochets in that stitch. When you do the first one, put your stitch marker back. And put another one. Oops. Now in this row, much like every amigurumi that I've ever seen, this is how they all get started. 2, 1, 2, 1. So by the end of this row, we should have 18 stitches. If you're off 1 or 2, I don't care. It's not going to make a huge difference in the long run. We're making a ball. The bottom of this is going to just look like a ball. Okay. So 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 2 single crochets. That would be my phone trying to ring. And it's a Michigan area code. So 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. All the way around. And I know it's really hard to see because this yarn doesn't let you see, and that's okay. Just kind of feel your way around. You should be able to feel when you go around. There is a definite hole here. There's a definite hole there. Just go as far to the edge as you can and feel for the hole. Okay. Did I put 1 or 2 in that stitch? That looks like, I don't even know. I think that's 2. See, I already lost track. It's not going to matter in the long run. 2, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1. Now this is not any pattern. This is, and I change it up every time I make one of these. And these minor changes as we go along are not going to make a big difference. Alright, that was the last stitch, so that should just be 1 single crochet. Back to the first stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets. Go back to that first of the 2 double crochets or single crochets and put your stitch marker. That's the beginning of the row. You can make this bird bigger by following the typical working in the round rules. So, you're working in the round. Row 1 should be 6 single crochet. Round 2 should be 12 single crochet, which means you have 2 single crochets in each stitch. Round 3 will be 18 single crochet because we're going to be adding 6. And the reason we get 18 is you will have 2 single crochet, that's a S, and then 1 single crochet all the way around. So we put those there because it will be all the way around. Row 4 If you want to still make it bigger and increase it even more, you add 6 more stitches. So in order to add 6 more stitches, you do 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and you repeat that all the way around. And this will continue in every row as long as you want it to get wider and wider. So row 5, we'll add 6 more stitches, and to do that we do 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Okay, or another way to write that is 2 single crochets and then 3 single crochets across the next 3 stitches. Okay, row 6 is going to be 2 single crochet, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets. And you're just going to continue that. And you can make every single amigurumi on the market by following this recipe. It's really that simple. When you want to stop getting bigger, you just crochet, single crochet in the round, in the round, in the round till it's as tall as you want it to be. That's how you make a very simple ball. Now, his butt's not quite as big as I want it to be, right? So we're going to do the next row, which is 1, 2, 3, right? So we're doing, I already lost track. I think we need 3 single crochets. So 1, or is it 2? I don't remember. I already lost track. This one is, that one is double. This one is 1. Okay, so 2 to single crochets. I miscounted. So 2 double crochets in 1, single crochet, 2 single crochets. If I have said double crochets at any time, ignore me. It's all single crochets. So the 2 single crochets in 1 stitch is the increase, and then we put 2 more single crochets. I hope I didn't mess that up. All right, and then an increase, which is 2 single crochets in 1, and then 2 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets in 1. Pull some more yarn out. Two single crochets, 2 single crochets in 1, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets in 1, and then 2 single crochets. All right. Remove our stitch marker because that's the first stitch of the row once again. Now you got to determine, do you want your baby to be bigger than this? I want it to be at least 1 row fatter than this because I like my birds to be chunky. So this row is going to have, once again, 2 single crochets to start the row. I'm going to show you another trick you can do so that if you don't like keeping track or you have a hard time counting which row you're on, how many stitches you did, every time you have an increase, you'll start to see where it's kind of a little bit of a peak right here. Peak right here. Peak right here. There should be 6 places. And you can go through and stitch marker each one of those places. And every time you see a stitch marker, put an increase, put an increase, put an increase, put an increase, put an increase. And that will help you to keep track. And every row, just move them up 1. Move them up 1. Move them up 1. Okay. So for this row, we are doing the 2 double crochet or 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. That's the increase for the first stitch. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. So 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. Do an increase. And right here, you would put the stitch marker in the first of the increase. So the first of those 2, you would put a stitch marker there. And then we do 3 single crochets, 3, and then an increase, and you would put your stitch marker right there. And then 3 single crochets. I had to do a quick battery change. This battery should not have died that quickly. I don't know what is going on. And then an increase of 2 single crochets. We're doing the same thing all the way around. And then 1 crochet or 1 stitch in the next 3 stitches, 2, 3, and then 2 in the next, 1, 2, and 3 in the next one. Well, I always got to correct myself. 1 in the next 3 stitches, and then 2, which is the increase, and then 1 in the next 3 stitches. 2, 3. Take your stitch marker out and throw it. That's really all you need. That, actually, he's probably going to be, he might be a little fatter than this guy. You can do your egg exactly the same way starting this that we just did. I'm going to do the egg a little bit different because I like my bottom of my egg to be a little flatter so it sits. But if you want to follow this part of the tutorial and just make an egg as well, you can, but my egg is a little bit different. There's weird rules. I do change it up so that it doesn't, so it's not conical at all like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to work in the round. So just put a single crochet in every stitch. If you want to keep track of how many rows you have done, you can keep your stitch marker there. I done through it and I don't, oh there it is. Alright. I don't know how many stitches I did. You can mark that. That's how far we've gone. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. If you want to keep track how many rows you're doing, you want to count them, keep your stitch marker there, but we're not going to use that stitch marker again. We're just going to go around in a circle and single crochet in the round for a few rows. Let's say 3 rows. Might be 4 rows. Depending on how tall you want your bird. I'm going to aim for 3 and I'm going to check the height and see what I like. Now it's going to want to curl towards you like this, okay? And what you need to do is just fold it away from you because this is the right side. The side that should be facing you that you're crocheting into should be the outside of the bird, not the inside, because it looks slightly prettier on the outside, okay? So just single crochet in the round for 3 or 4 rows. Do you guys ever pay attention to the way that you hold your hook? I very unnecessarily touch my yarn with this finger every stitch. And I don't know why I do it. It's not necessary, but it's habitual. And I used to do it to hold my stitches on my needle or my hook. And now you will see my finger jumping in and out. Like, just unnecessarily. And I don't know how to stop it at this point. I'm constantly like pushing my finger up there to touch it. I'm getting on my own nerves. Alright, that was row 1. Or that was the first row of no increases. And if I don't do it, if I like hold myself to not move that finger, my stitches get really tight or really loose. There's no controlling. For some reason that helps me control the gauge when I don't move my finger up like that. See, and it makes me go slower. I don't know what magic this does with my finger. I have no idea. I really like the color of this yarn. Isn't that pretty, the way it's all tie-dyed looking? Love that. Now, the chenille multi is still multicolors, but it's like micro stripes. So look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So it's like 3 to 5 stitches you have of the color, whereas this is just very watercolory tie-dyed. It's so pretty. These little birds are going to be so pretty. And I'm going to be ordering some more of this today. And I'm going to put my link below in case anybody wants to order this beautiful tie-dyed yarn. Let me look at my phone and give you guys a price because I think it's $4.99 a ball. I think that's what it said. $3.99. $3.99. That's not bad. $3.99 for this little tiny bird. Actually, you get 2 birds out of this. Now, if you do markets, that's a good, I may have made this a little too big. We may have did 1 row too many of the increases, but that's fine. It'll be a fat, chunky bird. Like I said, you can make this bird any size you want. When you get that bottom disc to the size that you want, and you want to start going up in the bird, yeah, he's definitely a little bit bigger. So 1 less row will make this size bird. I think I just went up 1 row too many. And that is just fine, because we don't mind a fat little bird. Alright. What is this, the 2nd row? Yeah, this is our 2nd row of no increases. Whoop. We're just making this whole thing together, okay? We're just going to start to finish. I'm not going to do a bunch of stops and starts like I normally do, because this shouldn't take very long to make a little bird. And then I will show you how to do the egg, which is very, very similar to how you make this bird. Nothing complicated here. And if you crochet slower than me, guess what? There's a little function right here on your phone or on your TV. Although I don't know if it's right there on the TV. And you can control and make me crochet slower. But then the caveat to that is I also talk much slower. And that sometimes is very creepy. So, slow me down with that warning in mind. Got this cute little birdie butt. It's a little birdie butt. This is going to have to be like a baby ostrich or something, because this can be a big baby bird. So that was row 3. And we're going to check, see what that looks like. So, see how about halfway up his body, we start to make him a little bit smaller. We also put his little tail right here. By the way, the only thing you have to sew on is his little wings, and that is optional. And it's actually really kind of easy. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to I think he's tall enough. I think he's going to be short and squatty. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this little tail. Okay? And to do the tail, we're going to put a whole bunch of stitches in a small space. So over these next 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, we're going to put 2 double, or not double, don't put double, 2 single crochets in each one of those stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you have a really hard time with stitch recognition, you can go ahead and pop your stitch marker in the first of those 8 stitches, because we're going to do another increase row on this next section, okay? And if you need to, you can actually mark this one. You're not going to need to, because we can count to 16. But that's what we're going to do. And then we're just going to single crochet around. Just single crochet till you reach that stitch marker. Or if you don't use the stitch marker until we get back to where that first of those 8 stitches are. Stitch marker does help for those of us who are forgetful or our mind wanders when we're crocheting, or those of us that have hard time with stitch recognition, or you just can't see because this is fuzzy yarn. Whatever the reason is, no judgment. This is a non-judgmental channel. Did I mention how pretty this yarn is? Look at these colors. And it's not even showing up as beautiful on your end as it is on my end, because my camera's kind of making it cool toned. I don't know if that made a difference, but I made the light really warm. Which actually hurts my eyes, but it'll be fine. We're just single crocheting, single crocheting. next stitch. All right, now we're right here. Now put 2 single crochets in each one of these stitches. We should have 16, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 in each one of these 8 stitches, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, see how his tail is like fanned out? What you're going to do is you're going to go over to the first of those 16 stitches, and it doesn't matter if you get the right stitch or not. Just go for what you think is the first of those 16 stitches, okay? Actually, nope. Slip into the stitch right below that. Go into that stitch, and then go to the first of the 16 stitches, and you are just going to slip stitch that closed, okay? That is the tail. We are going to come through later on and close this up with the thread that we use to sew on the wings, okay? We're just going to pinch that closed and sew it. It'll be real easy. You're not even going to see it. Right now we have a tail and a bird body. Now this is where we start to do decreases. So the very first 2 stitches is 2 single crochet together, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and the stitch after that pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 of those stitches, okay? And then do 3 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches, all right? And then we're going to decrease. So go up in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and the stitch after that pull up a loop, pull through all of those. That is a 2 single crochet together. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. We're going to do this all the way around. Then a decrease, which is 2 single crochets together. And then a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet together. And then 3 single crochets. And then 2 single crochets together. And then 3 single crochets, which should be 1 and 2. And we didn't have enough, so we're going to go over here. We're going to put a stitch in between. You might have to shove it in there where we connected the tail. Okay. Just anywhere in there. It does not matter, because we want to build up over the tail, because the tail is no longer a part of this. And then we're back to this first stitch, so we're going to 2 single crochets together in the very first stitch. So as soon as you come on this side of the tail, you're doing a decrease. Now our decreases work exactly in the opposite as the increases did. So now, whereas we did the 2 single crochets in each, 2 single crochets, then 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets, then 1, 2 single crochet, we're doing this backwards. So now, because we did, this is the increase, now we're going to do the decrease, and that means 2 together, and then we did 3 single crochets, so the next row will be 2 together, and then 2 single crochets, and then 2 together, and then just do a single crochet, and then in that next row we're going to do 2 together all the way around. Okay. Oh, I knocked the camera. And at some point we have to decide where we want our eyes to go and where we want our beak to go. So if you look at mine, the tail is connected in this row, which is directly under his wing, and the next row up is his beak, and then In between the next row after that and the next row is where I put his eyeballs. Okay, so we're going to do this row where we do 2 together and then 2 single crochet, so 1 in the next 2 stitches. And then we will start on the facial thing. The beak can come after the fact. The eyes have to be done before you close the head. Okay, so 2 together, single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, 2 together, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 together, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 together, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 together, next 2 stitches, so this one, and that's the stitch we created over the top of the tail, which now is a head instead of a tail. And then we're back at that beginning where the tail is at. So we're going to 2 single crochet that together. And for this row will be 2 together, then single crochet, and then 2 together, and then single crochet. And what you want to do is be aware of how big your hole is, because we have to stuff it and you have to be able to fit a couple fingers in there to get your eyes in. If you're doing safety eyes. If you are embroidering or sewing on eyes, you can do that after the fact. That is perfectly fine. Doing the pop-on eyes. So 2 together, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, and we're back at the tail area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up so I can drop my hook so that I can work in the hole, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff part of his butt. Okay, just take and shove it in there. Shove some stuff in there and push it all the way to the bottom, and like push on it and make sure you round it. Now it is better to overstuff these than to understuff them, because when they understuff, the stuffing will eventually fall flat with play, with wear and tear. So I always recommend just overstuffing them. You don't want to overstuff it so that you can see the stuffing coming out. Don't do that. But you want it to be firm. You want it to be firm, okay? You want it to not be super moldable, because if there's not enough stuff in there, it can be moldable still, and then it can take on weird shapes. So put plenty of stuff in there. And just push it as far as you can towards the bottom. And if you want, dig your holes, your fingers in the holes in the center and push it out towards the body. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make sure we have this even. The hardest part of this is figuring out where to place the eyes so that the eyes are not off center from the tail. You want to take straight, and you want that to be where his beak is. So straight from the center of his tail, you want his beak to be there and his eyes to be evenly spaced on either side of that. Okay? So, what you can do, if you have a long enough needle, is you poke your needle through, straight through. Okay? That's where his beak should be, where that little needle is poking out, alright? See, it's completely straight in the middle. We got the needle sticking out. We can push it a little further because we don't need it sticking out on this end anymore. Alright, so that's where we need the beak to be. Alright, now I'm going to grab my eyeballs, wherever I put my eyeballs. Alright, these are my favorite kind of eyeballs to use for the birds. They have, I will link them in the description box below. These are from Amazon. These were gifted to me. They have this really deep cup. And what it does is it sinks the eyes into the amigurumi a little bit. See, they're sunken in. It just looks cool. All right, and then we have to decide what color eyes we want, because these eyes do not have color to them. Okay, they have this lovely little plastic on there. All right, so to get the color, we have these little discs, and I'm really thinking like this hot, well, that's kind of a red, or is it a hot pink? I think that would be pretty. If you want to test it out and make sure that's going to look good, go ahead and put it on there and hold it up to the bird and see if you can see it. See, I don't know if that's as obvious as I would like it to be. I want you to see that there's color in the eyes. And I also tend to do a lot of blue eyes because my kids have blue eyes, both of them, even though neither of their parents have blue eyes. It's a recessive gene thing. All right. The blue looks a little dark. Let's see. What other colors do we have? We have silver. Silver would be pretty. The green might pop. The silver is definitely brighter. Let's try for the yellow gold. I think that yellow will really stand out. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't mean to keep hitting you, but you guys are so close to me. I still have purple. That'll blend too much. I think we're going to stick with the silver. Okay, so we put the silver on. I don't know why there's 3 caps right there. And I'm going to attempt to use my new tool that I've never used before, which is also from Amazon. I will also link it below, provided it works. If it don't work, I'm not going to link it. This doodad thingy. All right. Make sure his butt is like sitting down flat. All right. Now, you can do eyes closer together. It gives it a little baby look. These are directional, so his are kind of pointing up and toward you. It gives him the baby look, like, oh, I'm a baby. You can put them pointed down more, and it gives them a more menacing look. You can tilt them to, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but you can tilt them to the side and have them looking off to the side, either side. You have them looking in towards each other. That also gives baby look. See, so you can tilt it. I like them kind of up towards the top. So I'm just going to go over 1, 2 stitches and up a row. I think up here. So this row, and then at the top of this row. You see how there's stitches here, and then there's stitches here at the top of that row. And then we're going to put the beak in this row, and then up and over. Make sure you like where the placement is. Twist them around a little bit. Get them in just the right place. Make sure that they are aligned with that tail, because otherwise it's going to look real weird. Alright, now, see if I can figure out how to use this stupid thing. Alright, so I think the eye goes on this side, and the back goes on this side. I generally use my teeth for this because... Did it go on? Oh, that worked. Like a charm. Alright. Make sure this eye is lined up in the right direction. That worked with very little effort. Make sure you don't pinch any of that fluff in there. Oh yeah. That was very little effort. Okay, like this. It's cheapy and plasticking feeling, but I do like that. I will link that below. Alright, now, we know that the beak is going to be there. You can take this out. You can leave it. It doesn't matter. Alright, pick up our hook, because we're ready to do another row. Alright, so that last row we did 2 together, and then 1 single crochet. So this row, we're going to do 2 together all the way around. So 2 together in the next 2. 2 together in the next 2. 2 together in the next 2. I don't know, I feel like maybe his eyes should have been further apart because he's kind of fat, but it'll be fine. He's still a baby. Sometimes babies have eyes that are closer together. It'll be fine. Alright. Made it all the way around. And see how it's almost closed but not quite? I'm going to put one more stitch, just a regular old single crochet. And I'm going to cut a tail, I don't know, about 6 inches, just to make sure we have enough to work with. And just pull that out of the loop. Okay? Now, if you have a little bit of a finger hole and you can stick some more fluff in there, shove it in there. I'm going to try to make his head as full as possible. I'm just going to stuff it in like that. Just in that little teeny tiny hole. Okay? Just shove it. And just don't tuck your yarn in. And shove more in there, shove more in there, shove more in there. He's still not as stiff as I like him to be, so I'm going to shove some more in there. And if you want to put more yarn in or more fluff in here while the hole is a little bit bigger, do that, because, oh, here's another trick, because we didn't close up his tail, guys. And this hole's bigger. I'm going to shove it in his tail. Put it right up his butt. And push it towards the top. Alright. Don't be afraid to manhandle him to get him into like a more reasonable shape that you might like him to be in. He is definitely bulbous. He almost looks like a little fish. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, now take your needle here. I'm going to close his head off. And if you decide he needs more fluff at the end, he can get more fluff, it's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this way. Just, there's two. I don't know if you guys can see that. So there's one here and one here. Go through just the top of the stitch. Go directly across from it, go through the top of that one and pull it through. Close it off. And then go to the next stitch. Just grab the top and the top of the stitch directly across from it. Pull it through. Pull it tight. If there's any holes or gaps that you don't like, this is where you can come in and kind of like weave your hook, your yarn back and forth, back and forth. Close up those holes if there's any that are a little bit big that you don't like. This is just a tip on how to fix things after the fact, in case it's a little loose. You have a weird pucker here, you can go over here and you shove it in there and like grab that hook and pull it through to the back. Alright, now I'm going to come down here because I see a little hole right there. I'm going to go through these stitches, pull that through. Alright, now we can close up the tail right now, or we can do it after the wings, but I think I have enough here to close up the tail. So I'm just going to fish this back through a couple of stitches like that, right? Now if I want to close this tail up, if we are fully secured in where the placement of the fluff is, how much fluff is in there, we like the way that looks, we can go and just go through both sides of the tail like this and sew it closed, and then go back a next stitch over, sew it closed. That's all I do to sew the tail closed. I just do it back and forth. It's a simple, I think this is called a running stitch. It closes it up. You can't really see it because of the style of yarn that this is. Just so that you can't poke your hole in there. His butt is thoroughly closed off. Okay, and then of course you can weave this in a couple times along the edges, back and forth whichever direction you want. Make sure it's inside the stitches. Oh, And then when we feel it's secure enough, just hide it into the body. I have never had an amigurumi come undone, so there you go. You can clip that, or you can tuck it back in, doesn't matter. Boop. Alright, there's the body of the birdie. The body. He's very, very chunky. Very chunky. Alright, now we need some yellow yarn for the beak. Where's my yellow yarn? Let me find it. This yellow piece of yarn does not have to be very big. I cut about 2 feet, and it does not have to be blanket style yarn. Okay, this is just Bernat Forever fleece, I think. You can use regular cotton yarn, doesn't matter, as long as it's yellow or orange or some color that looks or resembles a beak. And what we're going to do is we are going to tie it. We're going to loop it through, connect our hook in. Alright, we're going to tie it. Alright. We are going to take where his pupil is and come straight down, and then go straight down from where this pupil is and just feed it through. Okay. We're going to grab it almost all the way through, and then where we knotted it, go in between and pull. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take a smaller hook and grab from underneath and pull that knot down into the body. Come on. There you go. That's all there is to that. Make sure it's all the way in. Now, that beak is perfectly fine, but we're going to go through a couple more times and just keep going in the same hole and out the same hole. You can build up the beak. You make it a little bigger. Boop. One more time if we want. You have a cute little beak. And that is what differentiates it from a fish to a cute little bird. Right, now we are going to go up over the top, go behind where the beak is, and go into the body and go down towards the center of his, where we started, the very first row. Pull it through. Boop. Alright, now we're going to cut the hook off, or the needle off. Alright, so now we have 2 strands here. We're going to do a double knot like that. One more. Just wrap it twice. Okay. Grab your same crochet hook, go up from the side, grab those loops and pull it through. Or if you want to extra secure this, you could weave it in and out here. Again, I've never had his beak come out. Just tuck that all in there. I mean, I'm sure that a little kid playing with this could absolutely pull all these body parts out. I know, because my son has done it. And then he comes crying because he wants. Just trying to keep him more rounded. You could also squish him this way and make him a little taller. I wish it was a little bit taller. See, depending on how you smush him and squish him, will change the shape of his body a little bit. Isn't that cute? Alright, now we're going to work on his little wingy dings. And the wings are real super easy. This is the only double crochet in the entire pattern. You're going to start with a slip knot, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. In that very first of the chain 3s, put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, all in that same stitch. 3, 4, and 5. It's all in that same stitch. Okay, And what you will see is it wants to curl. That is a perfect wing. Okay, we are going to cut about a 6-inch tail, tie it off, and we're going to make another one. Slip knot, chain 3, 2, 3. In that very first stitch, put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 6 inches. Tie it off. Alright, now this is the sew part. Get our needle, put the yarn on. Okay? Figure out where on his body you want his little wings at. If you put them upper to the side, and depending on the bird, where you put the wing placement is going to change the look of the bird. Okay, so you can have it up and to the side like this, or like this. These are down a little more. These are up a little higher. Where's my pink one? I lost the pink one. But depending on where you put his little wings at, and so when you hold it like this, the rounded part is going to go on the bottom of his wing. It's going to look kind of butterfly shaped. This flat part is what we're sewing to his body. Okay? And so just get an idea of where you want his wing to be. Do you want it up higher to the side? Do you want them more towards the front? Do you want them, you kind of want them about even with where his tail is. And you want them to be even, so space them from his eyes evenly on either side. See? Oh, that's cute. Alright, so I think I'm going to go from the corner of his eye, just diagonal ever so slightly in this row here. Okay? Yeah, I think that's cute. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows down from where his eye is diagonal. So if you went straight down, it's 2 stitches over. It's going to go in one of the stitches and then go back into the wing. Okay? Pull it all the way through. Right. Now I'm going to go back into his wing and I'm going to flip his wing up. So you're going to go in from the top and down underneath and grab one of the stitches where you're at, because it's better to sew this on the underside of his wing. It will make his wing stand up a little higher, but also it will hide some of the stitches a little bit. And just make sure you follow that line where the edge of the stitches are at, and just kind of go in and then back up through the wing. And in and back up through the wing. And in, back up through his wing. In the body, up through his wing, and go all the way till you get to the edge right here. In the body, in the wing. And extra secure the corners, because if it's going to have damage, it's going to be along the edges. Okay, do an extra stitch there. And there's his little wing. Isn't that cute? Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweet. And then I just weave through some of the stitches. Either I pulled those too tight, or the stitches just below. Just weave it in. Weave it back the other direction. And then put it into the body and out his butt. Boop. You can just leave that there for now. Alright, now he needs to be reshaped again. See how easy these fall out of shape just from me doing that. Just gotta give him a little squish. There we go. There's his little wing. And then we're gonna go all the way across. I actually feel like his wing could have been up a little higher. I feel like I should have did it in this row. too late now. It'll be fine. It will be so, so fine. And also, if this tail is still visible, you're obviously going to want to weave that in, but that tucked itself in there, so just shove it in the body. Alright, all the way across, straight down from his eye, 2 over, so right here. That's where we want to attach his wing. Oh, we're on the wrong side of his wing. It'll be fine. Down over 2, right here. Right there. We'll just attach that. Boop. Oops, we got a rollaway bird. Make sure. See, I did that wrong. I did it wrong. I'm going to take and try to flip his wing the opposite direction so that this tail is on the correct side. There we go. Right. Try that again. Straight across. Over, yep, right there. Alright. Attach the wing. Boop. Alright. Go back. Under. Alright. Lay that flat. Yep, we're in the right row. Always double check, because it's real frustrating to try to pick this thing apart and try to fix it after you already sewed the whole thing together. If this is your first time making an amigurumi, it's not going to be perfect and it's going to be okay. This is your practice one. Okay? He's the one that's a little funky. I have one. That first pink one I showed you, that was a funky one. Oops. I feel like his wing is back too far. No, it's not. Extra on the edge. Weave this back and forth a couple times. Boop. Boop. Go through the body, out where that same one is at. Pull it through, and because this tail is evident, we're going to weave this one in, whereas the other one was just tucked itself in. This little tail's going to need to be tucked in. Boop. And then we'll pull that in. There we go. Alright. Cute little wings. Cute little baby bird. We can tuck these in or cut them off. Boop. Alright. There's our little baby bird. Now it's time to work on the egg. Okay, the egg is a little different. I'm going to have to go find my white. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm using scrap white. I hope this is enough for the entire egg. Alright, so to make the egg, we need to figure out where I put my crochet hook. I just had it. Good Lord, hang on. And I had to change my battery again. Alright, so you're going to need a white yarn for this. This is, like I said, this is scraps. Premier does have white in both the Premier Basic Chenille and the Parfait. I would suggest using the Premier Basic Chenille. Just trust me on that one. Alright, and we're going to do the base the same way we did on the other one with a scrap piece of yarn. That's why we keep scraps. We're going to make a knot. Boop, just like that. I'm going to make a slip knot in here. The egg is going to be very similar to the chicken. The difference is the second row is going to be different. Okay, so exactly like we did the chicken, we're going to, that was not supposed to be a slip stitch. That was supposed to be a single crochet. Let's try again. Slip knot. Go in the knot. Make sure you're getting over both strands. Pull up a loop. Single crochet. Make sure your tails are both pulled. Okay. Then put 5 more single crochets in here. Put your glasses back on so you could see. That was 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull your other yarn tight. Give it a little tie. And another tie to extra secure it. Alright, there you go. Now, once again, find your stitch marker. We're going to work this slightly different from the chicken butt. Okay? So this row is going to be 2 single crochets in the stitch. Mark that first one. And we're going to go around, and I was wrong. Row 2 is exactly the same as the chicken, but row 3 is different. So do 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around. You should have 12, so that was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This yarn is a lot harder to work with than the basic chenille. Alright, and then we need 11 and 12 and 12. Now where this egg is going to differ from the chicken, take your stitch marker out. We're going to repeat that row. We're going to put 2 stitches in every stitch all the way around. Put your stitch marker back in the first of those the increase. What this does is it stops it from being cone shaped or conical shaped at the end. So what we're going to do is going to put 2 in each one, and we're going to count up to 24 while doing that. So that was 2. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, oops, 16, pull yarn off our ball. I say 16, I say 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We're back to the beginning of the row. Move your stitch marker. And then we're going to go back and pretend like we're back on count. So we're going to do 1, 2 for the first stitch. That's our increase. Okay, put your stitch marker in the first of those 2 stitches. And we're going to pretend, remember we did all this? We're going to pretend that row 3 does not exist. So where we normally would move on to row 3 and do 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet, we're going to skip to row 4. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then 2 single crochets. So an increase and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that was our increase, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. We're going to do that all the way around. Increase, 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. This gives it a more flat bottom. See that? It's flat. It lays flat. There's a slight dip in this one, but for the most part it will sit flat. Okay? It just stops that from sticking out and being rounded so much. Okay? So increase, 2 single crochet, and then a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochet, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochet, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And this doesn't have to be as tight because we're not stuffing the egg. The only thing that's going in this egg is that chicken butt. Okay, so your stitches don't have to be as tight. You could go a little looser. What tight stitches is going to do is give you a tighter fabric. If you want your egg to be sturdy and stand on its own, make your stitches tighter. Good Lord, I keep coming out. Increase, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Couldn't tell where my stitch was. This one's even harder to see than the other one, and I think I lost count somewhere, so we're just going to pretend like we didn't, and it'll be fine. I definitely lost a stitch. Alright. 2 single crochet, 1 in each of the next ones. And because I lost a stitch there, we're going to move our beginning of our row over 1 stitch, and it's not going to matter. Alright, now what you want to do is check this. And because I see that his butt goes out further than the egg, I need to put another increase row. Okay? This yarn I'm using is also thicker. So you need to measure on your chicken butt. Don't measure off of this specifically because you can change this 100 different ways to make him fatter, skinnier, thinner. Okay? So this is going to be the next row. So we're going to do 2 single crochets. That's our increase. Put our stitch marker back. Alright, and now we're going to do 3 single crochets. So single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Increase, 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. I don't know why I keep slipping out of the stitches. Working from this ball is driving me crazy though. I'm going to unravel a whole bunch so I'm not fighting the ball running across my desk. There we go. Alright, was that? That was not an increase. Alright, so we need an increase. And then a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And don't be afraid to play with these amigurumis. Play with it. Play with where the tail placement is. Play with where the wings are. Play with maybe instead of decreasing every row when you get to the head, decrease a row and then do single crochet and then decrease the rest. It will change the shape of their head. Don't be afraid to play with it. Okay? And I already lost count of what I was doing, so we may be messing up again, but it'll be fine. Don't take your number count so seriously. It's really not that serious. See, I did all that and now I'm tangled. Alright. Throw some of the yarn on the floor. 3 single crochet. increase. And for me, this is going to be my last increase row because this yarn is much fatter than the chenille. If you need to go another row, go another row. Just follow the pattern we've been doing because there's 3 single crochets in between the increases. If you need a bigger row and you need a next row, do 4 single crochets and then the increase. It will all work out, I promise you. Alright, 1, 2, 3, increase. And you look and his butt sits on, oh, see, I keep banging it. If his butt sits on there and that egg completely encompasses his body, you do not need to do another increase row. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off this row and then I am just going to single crochet in the round for 2 or 3 rows. Our aim is to bring the egg up to where his tushy is. Okay? Don't increase in that first stitch. You can keep that stitch marked if you want it. So you can keep track of how many rows you're doing. And just single crochet in the round. 2 or 3 rows. 1. I don't need to count. Why am I counting? I'm trying to count. I'm so weird. And once again, it's curling towards you, but you're going to want to fold it away from you because this will be the inside of the egg. And you're going to have to weave in the ends on this one because we're not stuffing it. I'm just going to single crochet in the round. And I'm going to pause so that I don't kill another battery because this is my last battery. And I will come back, I'm going to say 3 rows. Alright, I'm at 2 rows and it's coming right up under his wings. And it's coming right up to where his tail is, which his tail can tuck in. And I think that is really good for the bottom of his egg shape because that's the way my other guys fit. Actually, that's not his egg. Where'd the blue guy go? I keep losing birds. Alright. So see how I have the bottom of their egg just at their wings, just at his tail. And then I just hinge this so that it flips up and goes on top of their head. Okay? So we're going to hinge this one. Now, I'm going to tell you also another trick. If you just want the bottom egg shell, you can do that and give him a little bottom egg. Or you can make this brown and it could be his little nest. And it's very cute. Have a little bird in a nest. You know? And for this guy, I made him a little hat. But we're not doing that in this tutorial. This is really just the bottom part of the amigurumi that I just made, like just his butt. And that's all you have to do. You could do that and he could have a little cap. And you can sew it on or not sew it on. It's fine. But what we're doing in this tutorial is the hinged one. And to create the hinge, what you need to do, we're taking our stitch marker out because we do not need that anymore. Okay. Once we get through with our second or third round, depending on your little birdie guy, I'm going to go in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, you can use your stitch marker if you want to keep track of that. If it's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the 6th stitch away from your hook, or the very first stitch of the row, it's fine. Now what we're going to do is, this part is a little complicated, especially if you're not familiar with this stitch. If you're really good with not twisting a chain, you can chain the length of this. Okay? You want to chain however many stitches you have from here to here. Okay? I'm not counting that. I don't need to count it. It does not need to be perfect. I'm not going to do chaining because I twist my chains every time. I am going to do a foundation single crochet, so I got to lower you guys back down. Alright, and to do that, you're going to chain 3, go into that first stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, that's your chain, and then single crochet, so pull off both of those, Keep your finger in where that hole is, okay? We're going to go back in there. That second part's the single crochet, so we're creating a chain row and a single crochet row. So we're going to go in where our hole was, pull up a loop, grab in that hole between where your loop is and your hook. Pinch your fingers there. Chain 1, pull off 2, that's your single crochet. Go back in where that hole is, pull up a loop, put your fingers there, chain 1, single crochet. Go back in that hole, pull up a loop, put your fingers in between the hook and the fabric, chain 1, single crochet. Okay? And do it again. Chain 1, put your fingers, chain 1, single crochet. Go back in here, pull up a loop, move your fingers in between there, chain 1, single crochet. We're going to do this until this piece of fabric is long enough to wrap all the way around the egg to where the stitch marker is, okay? So I know if you're not familiar with this stitch, it might take you a few minutes to get used to it, and that is okay. Take your time. You got this. Just take your time. Now, if you don't want to do this and you're really good with not twisting your chain with single or with chaining, go ahead and just chain it the same length. It's not going to matter. I like to do it this way because I always twist my chain, and sometimes I twist my foundation single crochet. I'm gonna be real honest. I confuse myself, I get frustrated. We might be playing yarn chicken with this egg. Hopefully we have enough. So I'm just doing foundation single crochet all the way across. And the way we're going to measure it is, see how there's like this fat part here? That is going to go into the egg this way when we measure it. And just keep wrapping and go, oh look, I still have this far to go. So I'm going to keep pushing along, plugging along, bobbing along on the bottom of the beautiful briny sea. Although we're not making a fish. Although you could put a fish in an egg. And that would be delightful. You can put a dinosaur in an egg. Put a snake in an egg. You know, it'd be real weird. You could put a rabbit in an egg. You'd be like Cadbury. Rabbits and the eggs. It's so funny when you're kids and you're watching a commercial about a rabbit with eggs, and it never occurred to you that a rabbit shouldn't be coming from an egg. Or how about those pranks people play on their teenagers? Sometimes they're adults, where they put a Cornish hen inside of a turkey and pretend that the turkey was pregnant, and it never occurred to those people that turkeys come from eggs. Good times, good times. That's just hilarious. Yeah, we are definitely going to be playing yarn chicken. Measure it again. Oh, look at that. That was perfect. I stopped at the exact right time. Okay, now, what we're going to do here is make sure this part that's sticking out folds down into here. Okay? That way we don't twist it. Come all the way around. You don't have to line it up, but I'm just double checking to make sure it's the right size. Alright, now, I'm going to single crochet into where that stitch is. Now we can be done with that stitch marker for good. We're done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go around and just single crochet this next row. Single crochet in every stitch all the way around. This is going to be his hat. Make sure you don't twist this in any way, shape, or form, because you will not be happy. I know, because I've done it. Now if you want this egg to be real tall so that it closes all the way and the chicken is completely enclosed in your egg, you're going to do this for 2 or 3 more rows. Just single crochet all the way in the round. And that will close the egg entirely. The egg will close and the bird will be completely encompassed in it. I'm not doing that in this tutorial. You have the option to do that. And I mean, if I really wanted to shove this on there, see, there's like 2 rows missing. So if you just do 2 or 3 rows in the round before we start decreasing, it will be tall enough to encapsulate your little birdie. But I'm not doing that. So this is the only row I'm going all the way around single crochet. Like I said, you do have the option to do it your own way. I mean, I'm not Burger King, but I totally encourage doing it your way. Have it your way. Have it your way. You rule. I'm all about that. The next row, we're going to decrease. And we're going to decrease just like we did on the top of the bird's head. But we're going to do a decrease row because we want the egg to be more elongated and not just rounded, because eggs are not rounded. I mean, some eggs can be rounded, but that's not what we're doing. Alright, so we got to this part. We're going to put single crochets just along. Now when we get to this part, because this is the first of our row where it connects on this side, we're going to decrease, which is 2 single crochets together, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets and then 2 together and then a single crochet in the next 2 and then 2 together. We're going to do this all the way around. This is our decrease row, and then 2 single crochets. We're running out of yarn, and I've already been down this route before. 2 together. I should probably run up to Joann's today, even though I don't want to. Get some more of this yarn. I may have to. If we have to take a break so I can run up to Joann to get some more of this yarn, we're going to do that to finish the tutorial. So remember, we're doing a decrease and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Decrease in the next 2 stitches. I knew when I saw the size of that ball I didn't have enough. I just knew it. I knew it. Two together. 2 single crochets. 2 together. We're at the beginning of the row. And for this row, because we're trying to elongate it, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch around till you get back to the beginning of that row. I got plastic sticking to my finger. Now at this point, stick your little birdie in there. Put that over his little head. See, that should fit him. Actually, I think I may have made his egg a little too big. But it'll be fine. See, his little... There. There we have it. Alright, so I'm going to single crochet in every stitch around. And the next row will be a decrease row. But for that row, we will do 2 double crochets together. Or not double crochets. Why do I keep saying double crochets? 2 together, and then 1 single. And then 2 together and 1 single all the way around. And then we'll do another row where we're just crocheting in the round. And then we'll come back and we'll do 2 together in every stitch around. And we'll have a nice eggy shaped. But I really am thinking I'm going to have to go run and get some more of this yarn from Joann's. And I think I need to, when I place my order for this beautiful yarn, I need to order some white Basix so we can continue on making shells in the future. Because I really like making the eggshells. It's fun. And that ball's getting smaller and smaller. I keep wanting to sit back in my chair and pull my arms in and crochet. All right, we're back at the beginning of the row, so we're going to decrease. And we know we're at the beginning of the row because that's where the shell is at, right? And then single crochet in the next one. And then decrease. 2 single crochets together. And then single crochet. And then 2 single crochets together. And then single crochet. All the way around, single crochet, 2 together, watch our ball disappear. It will be an absolute miracle if I can finish this egg on this little tiny ball, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, back at the beginning of the row. Now what I want you to do is single crochet in each one of these stitches, okay? I'm going to try to really push it and make this last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that row, but single crochet in this row. Just single crochet in this row. And then when you're done doing the single crochets in these few stitches, the next row after that, we're going to double crochet or single crochet 2 together all the way around to close off this eggy. And I'm really trying to make this so I don't have to go buy a giant ball for 1 egg to finish a tutorial, so I can go about my business and my life, even though I have been informed that the Joann's yarn is now 50% off. Don't need any yarn. I don't know if we're gonna make it, guys. Double single or not double, no, wrong, all the wrong words. 2 together all the way around. And then, oh, we might make it. Again, we got to the beginning of the row. We're going to single crochet these 2 rows together. Yours should be more conical shaped than mine. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? You guys are rooting for me. I can hear it. Go, go, Jen, go. Go, Jen, go. We made it. Oh my God. We made it. We made it. I could not have done that other row, but we made it. All right, I'm going to do 1 more single crochet if I can get it in. Pull through the yarn. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we did it. Grab a needle and close this off the same way we did the top of the chicken or the bird. Bird's word, said the bird, the bird's word. We're gonna go in this stitch. Looks like I only have 4 stitches here, which is cool. You might have 6, but it'll be fine. Close it up. Tuck it into the underside. Boop. I'm going to make a knot on the inside just by tucking it into a stitch and wrapping that twice and pulling it. I'm going to weave this in as best I can, considering we cannot see any of these stitches. Boop. Come back this way. Boop. You can go through a 3rd time if you want, but I'm not gonna. Clip it. Turn it back around. I'm going to come weaving these ends. Weave that in. Weave these in so that they're invisible. And if you can see a little piece of that stitch, I ain't worried about it. Weave it back the other direction. We did it. Bellissimo, we did it. Good enough. Good enough. Just tuck that in. I don't really care. It's inside my egg. Good enough. Alright. Tuck my little birdie in. Close the hatch. He is encapsulated in his little birdie egg. Tweet, 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 tweet. And he's laying flat on the desk, so his hat wants to come off. But isn't that adorable? You guys, we made a baby egg. We made a baby and an egg together. Look at that little face. His face is a little bit crooked. That's okay, though. That's okay. Nothing in nature is perfect. Just so you know. There's our little baby birdie. There's our chicken egg. Thank you so much for doing this tutorial with me. And he is perfect. I'm gonna flip the camera around. He's complete. And he's the fattest of the ones that I've made so far. Oh, I pushed his hat down too far. And no two of my birds are the same. All of them are different. And so yours can be too, just by making slight variations to size, how many rows you increase before you start on the body. All of these are little tiny changes, and every once in a while, if you want their body to be longer, like in the rows where you're decreasing, if you want his head to be a little longer, taller, just add a row of single crochet like we did with the egg. It will make his head elongate a little more. And thank you so much for doing this tutorial with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you make an egg of your own and a little birdie to go inside of it. Check out the new yarn from Premier Yarns. And as you can see, there's enough to make another bird here. So if you do markets, this is like the perfect. Look at how cute he is. Look at his coloring. I just adore the tie-dyed look. It looks so feathery, don't it? He's so stinking cute. I think these will be a big hit at markets. I can pretty much guarantee it. And technically it's 2 amigurumis in one. So, I mean, maybe you can charge not double the price, but price and a half that you would charge for just the bird. Because the shell, I mean, his home should cost extra, right? I don't do market, so I know very little about that, but I really want to see your creations if you make these. You don't have to use the chenille style yarn if you're not good with that kind of yarn. You don't like that kind of yarn. You could use any yarn. You can use basic acrylic. You can use a fat yarn. You can make little tiny birds with thin yarn. Just please show me your birds. I want to see your birds. Put pictures in the Facebook group. Put it on the Instagram and tag me, hashtag me, and I will see it. And thank you so much for joining me for this very special tutorial. I had a lot of fun crocheting with you guys today, and I will see you in the next one.